Good evening. This meeting is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. President Fiani, here. Vice President Tremblay, here. Treasurer Conley, here. Secretary Minor, here. Mr. View, absent. Mr. Krause, here. Mr. Anderson, here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? So moved. Moved by Mr. Anderson. Support. Supported by Mrs. Minor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Shining Star, Dr. Gray.
My pleasure tonight to introduce Mr. Gavin Johnson, our high school principal and also one of our co-coaches of our mountain biking club, to share some great news with you. So, Mr. Johnson.
Thanks for inviting us, Dr. Gray. Dr. Gray is a fellow mountain biker as well. So, sitting right here is the state championship mountain biking team from this year. It's kind of cool stuff. This is Mr. Buckless. He started the team with me about 3 or 4 years ago. We had some high-level bikers in the school district. 2 of them are actually riding in college. One of them was a state champion 3 years ago, CJ Risch. This young team kind of grew up a little bit this year, and Buckless and I had a lot of fun with it, but we kind of handed the reins over to Coach Tyrell, Coach TJ, one of our parents. We ran with it this year, really organized the team, kind of put it together. They all have a ton of trophies, but they won the official state championship this year. They're going to be winning it for every year. There are a lot of young kids in front of you. We're going to be a dominant force, probably as long as Coach Tyrell stands around. I'm not sure Buckless and I are going to be around that long, but we'll see. Coach TJ, you want to speak about a couple of kids real quick?
Sure. We've got a number of great mountain bikers here. So I'm going to call their names and just mention briefly what the awards they've accumulated during this season. So if you stand up when I call your name. Andrew Allen, who was a state champ, one of the state champ team members, and all of the members here are part of the state championship team, and also participated in race number 2. Kyle Bonsack, and he's a series champion, first place in the Michigan Scholastic Cycling Association series. He took first place in varsity.
Kyle's also a champion road racer, and we think he's going to be riding in college next year as well. And he's also a stud wrestler.
Stud wrestler, that's right. Thanks, Kyle. And then Drew Hartbeck. Drew also participated in the state championship and help us capture the team award. That's Drew. And Alex Kepler. And Alex was the MISCA-USAC state champion for beginner. He took first place and also participated in the team award. Austin Loper, who was a MISCA series champion in varsity for third place and also participated in the team award.
He's also a triathlete, who's hopefully going to be competing at Michigan State next year in the triathlete series. So he's another stud.
And Nate Lawrence. Nate was new to the team this year and decided to get into racing. He was first place in the junior varsity for a series championship and also took third place in the MISCA state championship. And he's, along with a couple of other of the boys here, he just decided he's going to do the Iceman race, which is the largest point-to-point mountain bike race in North America. It runs on the 8th of November, and it goes from Kalkaska to Traverse City. Some of the kids here are going to be riding it. And Rob Ward. And Rob was, he contributed in race number 2, where we won the team award there at race number 2 was Tree Farm. And then also participated in the state champ team award. And Megan Schneerstein. Megan was a late addition to the team, decided she wanted to participate. She was real aggressive. She rode as a beginner and walked away with the Michigan and USAC, United States Cycling Association State Champion Award, first place. And Wade Thomas. Wade, he participated in all 3 races. Had mishaps in the first 2, was unable to finish, but He took first place in the junior varsity race on his 3rd try, and also participated in the state champion award.
That means he rode so hard his bike broke.
And my daughter, Brooke Tyrell, she's a Miska Series champion. She took first place in that, and 2nd place in Michigan USAC state championship in varsity. And
she was also a state champion skier last year.
State champion skier last year, and Mr. Johnson is the one who actually recruited her. She was talking to him about skiing, and he mentioned that mountain biking was good cross training for skiing, and he suggested maybe she participated in the team, and she signed up for it, and everybody was pretty excited about that because having a girl on the team makes a big difference, and we've got a couple now with respect to the team award, so we're able to capture some more points. Strong team in previous years, but couldn't capture the team award because it just didn't have enough positions filled in enough categories. And then Colin Wood. Colin also on the ski team, cross training on mountain bikes. He's a Miska Series champion. He took 2nd place in JV and 2nd place in the Miska USAC state championship. And Ben Yar, another beginner. He's a Miska Series champion for and took first place, and then state championship, Miska USAC US AC state championship at beginner 2nd place. So that's the team.
Really cool trophies, so I'll pass it
Maybe those little videos on your helmet or anything? Thank you. What a little presentation. Congratulations. Well done. Hey, how are you? Your dad said hello. Congratulations. Good job. That happens all the time. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Okay. Well done. Yes, sir. Good luck. Brooklyn, how are you? Good job. Nice job. Well done. Thank you.
What are you wearing? No, I'm wearing the. I got it. I took it. What's it called? From St. Joe's.
Absolutely.
Grab your hardware.
I just want to invite all of you parents out there and the young girls. We'd love to have more women riding with our team, so get your girls out there.
Hey, awesome. What are you going to
And now we have the school improvement presentations with Brighton High School and Maltby Intermediate School. Dr. Surrey.
All right, I'd like to begin tonight with Brighton High School. Introduce to you the data coaches from Brighton High School in their 2nd year. We have Joan Ancona, science teacher at the high school, and Colleen Buchanan, who's a social studies teacher at Brighton High School. And I know that the principals are here somewhere, Gavin Johnson and Henry Vecchione. They might not want to come up and speak, but they're in the room in case there's questions. But the ladies are here to share their school improvement plan with the board as we've asked them to do this year. So I'll turn it over to Joan and Colleen.
It's all theirs. They do it all the work. I don't want to take any credit for it.
I know.
Okay, all right.
We weren't going to get it.
Good, that's fine.
All right, so Colleen has a take one, pass it down for you. Pretty excited about it. The first thing we have is the hash sheet. And when you get the little hash, you get to put your name on it. Because we wanted you to participate in one of the activities that we do at our meetings.
Every professional development, they get the hash sheet. Questions, requests, and positive.
And then the second one is just sort of a summary of what we're going to talk about today. School improvement at the high school is improving all the time. And our big theme this year is continuous improvement from good to great, which was inspired by Gavin Johnson and some of the other things that we've been talking about. But we know that we're a good school. We want to be a better school all the time. And we want to start to use more data to improve instruction. And in order to do that, we decided to start with standards, of course, start with those things that we're told to teach, those things that we think are important, those things that students are being tested on, and then develop from that common quarterly exams. So we call them the CQEs. And the CQEs are we're going to use for our state evaluation and our school improvement plan and to get everything off the board. We're going to collect data from those exams and then use that to improve instruction. So, real quick, if you would put your name on a little handsheet for us, and then if you have any questions or requests as we're going along, if you could just write them down real quick, we'd appreciate it so that we can give you feedback too. All right, so the whole idea, of course, is to improve student achievement, and we're going to try to do that by collecting data, analyzing the data, and then using that to inform our instruction. We're trying to tie all together our school improvement plan, our professional development time, and even some of the components of our teacher evaluation. So I think it's a pretty good program that we're putting together and that all the teachers are getting involved with. On the lower left-hand corner over here, we have some of our goals. We tried to include everyone, which was kind of new for us too. We have goals in the regular content subjects like reading, writing, math, social studies, and science. And then we also have goals for the other programs, the elective classes. So they also are developing common quarterly exams, and they also are going to demonstrate their proficiency and improvements in their proficiency over time. And then the special ed teachers are also going to help us out by helping students with reading and math proficiency specifically. Our lowest students really need that extra support in reading and math, which is nice. Our strategies over to the right-hand side include writing the exams, which we are finishing up. This week we're going to give our first quarter common quarterly exams, which will be a new thing for us at Brighton High School. And then we're going to give our second quarter ones at what would have been the midterm, and then third and fourth quarters we started actually last year. We'll be developing testing parameters to make sure that everyone gives the same test in the same way. We talk a lot about fidelity of testing and making sure that it's a good comparison of data from one to the next. We're going to look at item analysis and then respond to that. We've done a really good job this year sharing our vision with the rest of the staff and trying to identify and address concerns. And that's why we use that half-sheet form in some format or other at each of our meetings. And we've been trying to provide direction and time and resources to the teachers so they know what to do. And one of those resources is our website. So this is our homepage for the website. It's got our theme on it and on some of the stuff that we're doing. And then we have lots of places for the staff to go for support materials and all kinds of good stuff. So if you would look at the PLC 2014 page for a second, we each submitted photos of our departments to share with everybody. And they're really kind of interesting to see everybody smiling. And we had each department choose a name for themselves that's a little bit different than the usual. And so some of those are kind of fun too. And I really like this page. I think it makes everybody feel good. Some people didn't want their picture in it, so they had their hands or their feet. Kind of interesting stuff. All right, and then we also have a page with lots of support material. So if she puts on like, go to the core one maybe. Here we go. They can download the worksheets that we use during meetings. They can download the PowerPoint presentations that we give to the staff, all of the resources that we have available for everybody. And then try contact. We also try to make a good chance for everybody to give their good comments. So we came up with a nice Wordle type picture that had all of our comments together on it. And then we tried to list all the comments that people gave while we were doing our presentations and sort of keep that good feeling going. And then we also have pages for questions and answers and requests and all kinds of wonderful stuff. Did you have other questions you'd like to ask us about the school improvement plan?
Mrs. Minor.
Okay.
You said you've written Common Quarterly exams, and this is something new. When do the teachers have time to work on these?
We have regular professional development meetings. We've had 2 a month so far because we wanted to make sure they had enough time at the beginning of the year to work on that. We usually work on Monday afternoons for an hour and a half. We also had a 4-hour session in August. We have a 4-hour session coming up in November. So they have time to work together in course groups or as departments.
And they made second semesters already,
Okay.
so they just have to revise that based on feedback.
Okay, does it count toward PD? Does it count
Yep,
toward
counts
that?
towards
our
district-provided professional
PD.
development.
Okay, great.
Any additional questions or comments? Thank you.
All right, well, at the end, of course, you have to write positive comments for us so we feel good and are ready to get moving forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
All right, and as you're finishing up your comments, I'll go ahead and introduce the next group. It's from Maltby Intermediate School. And we have this evening to present their school improvement plan, the data coach Dan Ayton, who's been with school improvement forever, and Mr. Scott Brenner, and Jeff Isley's here as well to assist in presenting. And that will wrap up our school improvement presentations. I believe I did a little inventory tonight, and everyone, they presented or they are presenting tonight. So.
Well, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share our school improvement plan with you. Dr. Surrey introduced our fearless leader in the area of school improvement, which is Dan Ayton, and he has been with school improvement for a long time, and he's our data coach. Does a great job. All of us are fortunate in our buildings to have teachers like Dan, like Joan, like Colleen, who take these leadership roles and really kind of spearhead these things. So Jeff and I are pleased to be a part of this as well. So we're going to go through a few slides with you here and show you what our school improvement plan is all about this year.
In the area of our MEET tests, you see the mapping scores for 5th and 6th grade. There's been an upward trend there. 5th grade rising significantly up to 75% there. And also 6th grade, again, an upward trend over the course of the last 5 years. In our cohort, we were predicted to score within about the 79th percentile. We came in at 88%, just a little under 88%, so scored much higher than the state had expected. In our reading scores, you can see we continuously held a high level of efficiency, scored very well. The numbers are a little bit smaller, but you see those are both up in the 90s for both 5th and 6th grade.
I'm going to be telling you about our goals that we had. We had 4 goals, the first one being a reading goal. And we have strategies that are also reading and math goals. The strategies are under both, a number of them, not all. Our first strategy is universal academic planning. We screen all our students 5th and 6th grade in reading and math using Ames Web and SRI inventory. And we use these scores to help determine our RTI groupings, any kind of interventions we need to do for our students. That is in our instructional groups. Our RTI instructional groups meet 4 days a week. There's weekly progress monitoring to see how those kids are doing, and then if they graduate out, they're out to benchmark for their grade level and time of the year, they graduate out, and we reassess and bring other kids that may be struggling. We also utilize a reading workshop model for instruction in all 5th grade classrooms and 6th grade in reading, which is best practice strategy for our reading. Instructional rounds, Scott will talk about at the end. That's something a new goal of ours. And our math goals show increased proficiency, and we have generally the same 2 strategies with universal screenings and RTI instructional groups. We do that for both reading and math. But then in math, we also have formative assessment. It means we're always going back and forth to look at what we've learned today, what we're going to learn, and then we assess and then intervene then for a child that is struggling in one concept. We use I can statements to help guide all that, so we're ready to go based on individual strands for our curriculum. In science, we are definitely working on the formative assessment strategies and using that to guide all our instruction, looking back, see how it went after instruction, assess. If we find that something's happening, we need to reassess, we reteach, reassess, and then move on through our curriculum. And with our instructional rounds like Scott will talk. Our final goal is 21st century learning skills based on all the technology that's been ingrained. Like for our voters, bring all this great technology in, so we have a lot of training going on for staff as well as, okay, there you go, training within us to help we can be a better instruction using all of our technology.
Okay, RTI, being that we are the last presentation, I'm guessing you've heard a little bit about RTI so far, response to intervention. So to let you know where Maltby's at, we have common units. We have common units in the language arts area. We use the everyday math curriculum. We have a common social studies curriculum, 5th and 6th grade. And we have a common science curriculum. So we have those common units. They're in place. We have pacing guides. We follow them rigorously. So we're really looking at drilling down into the information. Who needs help? The exams, the universal screenings Dan talked about, those are nationally benchmarked screenings. We talk about Ames Webb and Dibbles. We administer them 3 times a year to students in the areas of reading comprehension, math concept application, and math computation. We take those results, we meet with teachers, we look at how students fared with that benchmark, we look at other information, how these kids do on the MEAT test, how they do on the Scholastic Reading Inventory. We sit with the teachers and we make a decision on what the student needs. If they need small group intervention, we structure it. This year, we know we need to focus on our bottom 30%, we know we need to focus more on students with disabilities. So we've restructured our response to intervention program, smaller groups. The tier 3, you see we're doing very well when it comes to RTI and our universal screenings. The kids that you'd see in yellow at the top of the pyramid with the emerging skills, and the kids at the very top with deficient skills, we're putting those kids in tier 3 groups, meaning they're getting 4 exposures a week of small group intervention, remediation of skills in reading comprehension, math computation, kinds of things that can really help kids attack the curriculum better. So we've managed to utilize more of our staff to restructure our groups, to increase the amount of time those tier 3 students get, and to lower the group sizes for the tier 2 students as well. Like Dan said, we progress monitor those kids. So every 2 weeks we're taking a look, okay, where are they at? How are they doing against these national benchmarks? What's their plane of improvement? And yes, you can graduate out of these groups. I try to tell parents it's a skill-based intervention. We're working on skills here, and the kids work hard. We graph it. We're big into self-assessment, so they get to see how well they're performing, and it's a motivator for them. It's a great system. It's wonderful to have time for remediation within our school day for students who need it without just moving on. We're all hard-pressed to get curriculum, but this is a great system. Go ahead, Dan. That's our reading. Need to get you a new computer there, Mr. Ray? Okay, that's our math. And so, again, we're constantly looking at these. Not only are we looking at them for our students, but we look at these when the students come to us from 4th grade. So we can structure classes, and so we can structure support immediately for them. So again, that's an Ames Webb product that we use. It's nationally benchmarked. And those are our numbers as of our last screening. We do it 3 times a year. And a big part of our PD this year is going to be these instructional rounds that Dan was referring to. Instructional rounds really just based on the premise that we need to open classroom doors. And some of our best resources are the teachers that we have teaching next to us. And open those doors. They call it deprivatizing practice. Put some money behind it, put some grant money behind it. Dr. Suri has been incredibly supportive at helping us move through our PD needs. And we're really excited about this, the opportunity to go and observe other teachers teaching. And not necessarily focus on what you're teaching, but a focus on how you're teaching it, the pedagogy. How are your neighbors teaching this? Maybe it's your content area, maybe it's not. You can learn a lot by watching someone teach in another content area. So we're going to arrange that. We're in the initial phases right now, and we're excited because we're going to share this experience with our friends over at Scranton Middle School and arrange some observations not only within our building, but the chance to go see teachers in another building. And we're really excited about that. And the rest of our PD this year is going to be a continuation of something that Dr. Suri brought to our district last year, which is assessment literacy. Assessment literacy is fantastic. It's about identifying in very clear language for teachers and kids what the learning targets are and making sure you are assessing kids on the learning targets based on your formative and summative assessment. So we started that last year with overwhelming success, and we need to take this year to finish creating those assessments, to finish administering them and analyzing them, and kind of fine-tuning everything. So that, in a nutshell, is our school improvement plan.
Thank you, Mr. Brenner. Are there any questions, or Mr. Anderson?
I was just sitting here thinking about, you were talking about your common curriculum, and I can see where, you know, you are that kind of last grades of common curriculum, and I can see, especially with the RTI program, that, I mean, it's kind of like if you don't catch it there, it becomes that much harder once you start, you know, blowing the class apart, when you have everybody heading off in different directions. So I can see just how important that program is, especially, you know, and the fact that you get every, you know, 5th and 6th grader in the district there to work with. That it's a great program, and I can't think of how you would want to put, you just want to put as much emphasis as you can in getting that job done.
Any additional questions or comments?
Thank you very much. Could I just follow up as they sort of wrap up a little bit? Just want to thank all of our buildings for taking the time, teachers and administration, to come and present for the last 6 weeks with you guys. I don't know if you can really appreciate the pride I feel when they come and they present. You know, we have a lot of things that are always happening in our district, and they keep our attention. But this is, I mean, we say everything's school improvement, and you know, they might be working on leadership things at Brighton High School. So many things happening with that. Elementary schools, all the way through K-12. There's so many things happening. And it used to be that school improvement was something that was on a shelf, and you pulled it down on a PD day or when a visit was coming by, you know, later that year. But I really am impressed by how our buildings have embraced this whole idea that everything's school improvement, everything's like one plan going in the same direction. And it doesn't mean you have to always be working on that goal or this, this initiative, but everybody's contributing to it in their own way. And so I just want to thank you guys, the high school, for coming tonight, all the other buildings the last couple of weeks, because like I said, it makes me very proud. I couldn't do anything without this, and as you can see, it's very collaborative between administration and teachers. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Suri. I must commend you as well. I know you're very active with regards to aggressively tracking down grant funding, so we can always make our schools better, improve our test scores.
We are creative.
So I commend you for that, and thank you for all your efforts and hard work as well. At this time, we have the first call of the public. If anybody wishes to speak, please step up to the microphone. You'll be allotted 3 minutes. And please state your name as well.
Carol Cook, retired Brighton teacher 2007, and coach. A teacher's primary purpose is to teach their students not necessarily what to think, but how to think. You cannot prepare students for citizenship in a democracy by insisting they follow rigid ideologies. Einstein, for example, was assigned a remedial class because the rigid system in which he was placed failed to recognize his inherent genius. Socrates, recognized as the greatest thinker of his age, was forced to drink poison after the democratically elected leaders of Athens decided he was a corrupter of youth. This act led to his equally famous pupil Plato turning away from democracy towards what they have come to call today plutocracy, or literally rule by a select chosen few. Plato identified them as philosopher kings. As a teacher of English and history and coach for over 36 years, I came to understand that my job was never really about me. When it came to educating my players and students, it was always about them. Thank goodness I learned that valuable lesson as a young coach when my captain rose to challenge me for chastising them after a loss, saying, "Are you mad because Brighton lost, or are you mad because you lost?" And I knew I'd lose my team if I didn't say it was because I lost. And I apologized to them. There is an old adage that opines you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead a student to the classroom, but you can't make him or her think. Lincoln on the slavery issue said a house divided against itself cannot stand. He borrowed that from the Bible, Matthew 12:25. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Luke 16:13, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will devote to one and despise the other. It is time for the board to decide whether they are on the side of the children of Brighton area public schools, or they are on the side of ideology, whether they are on the side of the children of Brighton area public schools, or on the side of outside special interests, whether they think of themselves as elected public officials who serve the children of the Brighton area public schools, or their own personal interests. The children await their answer.
Hi, Kara Totero. With great respect, I would like to thank Mr. Anderson for his years of service to the Brighton Area School Board and Brighton community. I appreciate the time and energy he has tirelessly donated. Thank you, sir. Also, I'd like to thank Dr. Gissinger for her hard work obtaining so much shared services income for the district. It is her tenacious, focused, determined vision that has enabled Brighton area schools to climb out of deficit in such a short time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Carrie Harbrecht. Do you need my address? Do I don't need to state that? Okay, I just came to also say thank you, Bill Anderson, for your years of service on the board and for being a voice of reason, and to let you know that you have a lot of people in this community who support you and appreciate you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Bond, and I'm here to celebrate a new program at Horning Elementary, which is the Horning Imagination Chapter. And what it is it's a pilot program through the Imagination Foundation, which was popular with Kane's Arcade. And it's a set-aside time for children to engage in creative play opportunities. So every Thursday, 35 students in 2nd through 4th grade are coming together just to play in creative ways and discover the opportunities that exist within it. Now, this is one of those awesome opportunities for Brighton because we're only one out of 30 imagination chapters around the globe. joining many urban areas around the United States, as well as Cape Town, South Africa, Colombia, Melbourne, Australia, and more. So we have an awesome opportunity to lead, not just within Michigan, we're the only Michigan chapter, but also get nationwide attendance or attention. And I would love to be able to come to the board and celebrate some of their accomplishments and bring the kids here. However, with that being said, just the lack of respect and safety and things that I have viewed, especially watching the last board meeting, I don't think that would be an appropriate place for 2nd through 4th graders to experience some of the leaders of our board having that type of behavior. So I just ask that you create a better culture at the board meetings so that you can have a place that 2nd and 4th graders can attend and look up to you. So I hope that you can make this, just like as I was walking in the bridge, be kind, be respectful, and be responsible. Because we do honor your responsibility. My dad was on the board for 10 years. I get it. It's a hard job, never ending. But at the same time, I ask for civility amongst all of you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Brad Gibson. I'm a retired teacher from the district. My wife also retired from the district. In between us, we have close to half a century of service to Brighton schools and the kids of the community. I will, just for the sake of full disclosure, and if someone brings it up, I do not work for the Michigan Education Association, but I'm not here to speak as a UNISERV director. I'm here to talk to you about from a former employee of the district. As a former employee, I kind of keep one eye on what's going on here, even because such a big part of my professional life was here. And I caught a video of some things that happened in the last school board meeting, and I just felt compelled to come back and say a couple things. First of all, I kind of wanted to set the record straight on reasons the district is in deficit. I heard at least one board member say that it was because of the teacher contract that was passed at that time. I was a local leader at that time, and just before I left, I had done a pretty detailed analysis of the finances of the district. It was about the same time Dr. Gissinger was coming on the scene, and presented it to her. And she was, although may not have agreed with every point I made in it, she did agree with the conclusions of it. And the conclusion was the reason we were headed towards deficit was, one, the district hadn't done a really good job of staffing as we were declining in enrollment, simply didn't keep up with that. I mean, that is overwhelming, I think, the #1 reason they were in the shape we're in. The second reason was inadequate funding by the state for the school district. The other thing I wanted to say tonight was I was really taken back by how some of the board members seem to be virtually pushing each other out of the way to get in front line to take credit for you guys climbing out of deficit. I'm excited that you guys are getting out of deficit. I think it's outstanding. But what I think was missed was the real people that helped do it were the people that sacrificed so much. Bill Anderson mentioned that he had talked to some people who lost their job working here. It was the people who lost their job due to privatization. It was the people who got laid off. It was so many people, from administrators down to cooks and everyone else on support staff, took major sacrifices to try to keep their family going, and did it on behalf of this district. And I didn't hear anyone other than Bill mention that the other night. And that's not real leadership. Real leadership is stepping up and giving credit where credit's due, and looking out for your members, and looking out for your employees. So with that, thank you.
Does anybody else wish to speak at this time? The first call of the public is closed. Board reports. Are there any board reports this evening? Mrs. Minor.
I have a correspondence I'd like to share with everybody. Excuse me. Mayor, we pass it down for the board members. I was contacted by Mrs. Luann Loy, who is our Brighton representative on the LASA board. She wanted to ensure that our board members knew of the response to the budget concerns of some of our members. I received a copy of their letter addressed to the Brighton Board of Education, which was sent on October 9th. As the secretary of the board, I made a copy for each board member and would like this entered into the minutes. Thank you.
Yes, that won't be a problem. We will, well, I'll make a copy of this for Mrs. Ackermite, and we can add this to this evening's minutes. Any additional board reports or action items? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 13th, 2014 as presented? Moved by Mr. Trombley, supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the best practices resolution as presented?
Support.
Moved by Mr. Conley. Support. Supported by Mr. Trombley. Any discussion? We'll have to do a roll call for this one. President Fiani? Yes. Vice President Trombley?
Yes.
Treasurer Conley?
Yes.
Secretary Minor?
Yes.
Mr. View? Absent. Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the summer tax?
Is something submitted into the minutes? Aren't you supposed to read it to the public?
Well, I'd be happy to if that's what the public wishes for.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that right before the first call of the public, or I'll do it during the superintendent's report.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the summer tax resolution as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mrs. Minor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of elementary teaching stations as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Trombley.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. For future action, we have the Barton Melo contract extension. Dr. Gray.
This would take us out to the phase 3 when we go for the $4 million that we'll sell at the market, probably 2 years from now. That gives us 3 years beyond that to actually spend those monies, and remember, technology is always a 5-year payback. That will allow us primarily to replace or refresh the loose equipment, which at this time would be iPads, Chromebooks, and the sort. Who knows what will be available 5 years from now as our existing technology starts to become outdated, but it does put us in a good place as that will last another 5 years out, be pretty secure, and have that paid off in the same amount of time with fresh technology for at least a decade from today. The percentages on here, I've met with Paul Twigg, who's in the audience tonight from Barton Mallow. We always talk about in terms of this contract, we have 2 weeks, and I'll be meeting with Paul again just to solidify this contract before we bring it here for action. We think Barton Mallow's done a very good job with this technology integration, especially in the instructional aspect with Courtney Lauer, and we look forward to a continued successful relationship.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. For information, curriculum, Dr. Suri.
Thank you. Other than just mentioning that we have the My Google conference coming up November 3rd and 4th, I think I've already made my statement for this evening, and most of my updates are in the weekly Friday letter anyway, so I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Suri. Finance, Dr. Gistinger.
Yes, I'd like to draw the board's attention to the fact that we have the bills from October 9th through the 16th in our board packet, and that is all I have to report this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gistinger. Dr. Gray, Superintendent and Human Resources Report.
Probably, it's kind of tied to finance, but I probably had the best meeting I've ever had in my 6 years in this district today. We had our audit meeting, which is where they typically come in and report back to us in relation to our audit, which they completed in early October. I'm not going to spoil the results because he'll be here, Mr. Dunn from Manor Casteras, to give the report on November 24th. Typically, Dr. Gistinger and I, when we meet, we always ask ourselves, what more could we have done? Could we have done this? Could we have done that? And we did that again today for a little while, but we also sat and talked about the fact that we think you'll be pretty pleased with this particular audit. We think you'll be pretty pleased with the results that Mr. Dunn will say to you that night And we really look, for the first time I can honestly say, we look forward to an audit report in this district and the next year's as well. So it was probably the best meeting I've had since I've been here because I was just really pleased with the result.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. And additionally, I have the correspondence that Secretary Minor has presented to the board, and I will read it as follows. October 9th, 2014. Dear Brighton Board of Education, thank you for your concerns recently expressed through communications in the local media with our superintendent, Mr. Dan Danowski. As the Board of Education of the Livingston Educational Service Agency, we want you to know that we take your concerns very seriously and will do everything within our power to work with you in a forthright and open manner to address any issues that you may have. Our board appreciates your concern with the soundness of our general education budget that was presented last June for your review. We have complete confidence in our superintendent, his administrative team, and the processes and procedures used to produce and administer all of these budgets: general education, special education, capital projects, and debt. We feel comfortable that these budgets represent the best efforts of our agency, legally, fiscally, and to fulfill the needs of the students of Livingston County. Our board understands that there was some miscommunication between our agency and the Brighton administration regarding the manner of presentation offered for the last annual budget presentation. It is our understanding that an offer was made to your superintendent to have a representative attend, but was turned down as unnecessary, and a video summary of the budget presentation was provided instead. The agency has and will continue to offer the services of a representative at your meeting unless such services are not requested. Of course, in the interest of full transparency, the agency will continue to field questions regarding our budget at any time, as long as such questions are presented in a timely and appropriate manner. The responsibility to develop, adopt, and administer our budget by law is sole responsibility of the Board of Education of the Livingston Educational Service Agency. We will continue to present annually our general education budget to our local constituent boards of education. Our staff's loyal commitment to the students of Livingston County has enabled us to weather recent economic downturns without having to consider chargebacks to our local districts, including Brighton, for our services. As a token of our appreciation, a one-time supplemental payment was approved and distributed at the end of our last fiscal year. This was a decision made by this board. Respectfully yours, Board of Education, Livingston Educational Service Agency. And lastly, we have our student representative, Bethany, from Brighton High School.
Hi. Sounds like I missed a pretty exciting meeting last time. Pink Week was good. That was the Powder Puff game. Sadly, seniors lost. But overall, we raised approximately $10,000 for local cancer fighters. With the help of our wonderful community, we can't thank you guys enough. We want to thank local businesses, parents, students for participating in all of our week's activities. We really have an awesome community here, and we could not do everything that we do without all the people who donate their time and their money towards it. Senior Serve was this past weekend. So the students from a senior class stayed 2 nights and 3 days in Detroit. They helped clean up neighborhoods, and they fed the homeless, and they just brought a positive atmosphere to the city. And I heard it was a great time, and I was not personally there, but they had a great bonding experience, so it was nice. There's a band concert tomorrow night, I believe, if I'm right on that. And then there's a choir concert on Thursday, and the musical will be released for this spring musical. Donkey basketball is coming up for those who participate in Senior Serve. If you like going to high school events, this is my favorite one. So you should come to it. I don't have the date on that. I didn't get that, but do you know, Mr. Johnson?
November 11th.
November 11th. November 11th is also the day of the senior class meeting. Stafford's student basketball game is coming up on November 6th. We still have Sip and Study going that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where students tutor other students, and then teachers stay and help. So it's just a good way for students to get involved. That's an NHS tutors and things like that. The annual NHS food drive is starting up right now. Mock elections for everything that will be on the ballot for November 4th is going to be this week, like Thursday or Friday or something like that. And then we're getting ready to plan the winter blood drive, which will be on December 3rd. leadership is planning at this year. And and under the senior class meeting, I have that we are purchasing gowns instead of renting them this year. So that's something new for the senior class. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bethany. At this time, we have the second call of the public. If anybody wishes to speak, please step up to the microphone. And you'll have 3 minutes. And please state your name as well.
Hello, I'm Dave Chesney. I live at 5245 Milroy Lane in Brighton. I have 3 daughters, two of them who are graduated and one who's currently in the school district. And October is National Bullying Awareness Month, is that correct? And there's been a very large program about bullying at the schools. I know at the high schools, it's been through all schools. So we spent the last month doing, covering bullying and making sure that we understand that. And given the importance of this to our whole school district, and I mean our whole school district, I thought it would be fairly appropriate if I could ask at the next meeting, while it's still very fresh in our mind, if I could ask Ms. Warren as a student representative and Nick as a school board representative to present to the community and to the rest of the school board on what our bullying policy is, how it works in the school district, what the penalties are, perhaps, if those rules are violated. I think that would be really, really beneficial for our whole community to have that understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesney.
And can I ask for confirmation that that actually will occur?
I'll be in touch with you when I'm going through the agenda.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was...
Well, in that case, if you want to answer right now, the answer is no.
I'd be happy to give a report of what our bullying
That's absolutely fine. I just wanted to let you know, Bethany, that the student representative from the bridge will be in attendance at the next board meeting.
Okay. I'll still be here.
Point of information, I would like to address Mr. Kiani. Why do you say no?
I'm not going to answer that question right now. I'd be happy to speak with you after the meeting, though.
I would like it in writing, sir.
Does anybody else wish to participate during the call of the public at this time?
Do I have any support from any other school board members? So on the call to the public, I'm confused. So does this mean that it will be covered at the next meeting as questioned?
It means that it will be covered at the next meeting.
You got to address the public with that one document.
You don't want to
Beth, can I have a copy of that, please?